Well, good evening, everyone. I suppose this would be an episode of Carpo After Dark. I always love saying that. It's just funny to me. I'm going to make this maybe long, maybe short, depending on whether or not my son interrupts me. They're playing their time on the game's Minecraft. I'm out here playing my games. Lasers. I love lasers. I bought this new one. It was pretty cheap. They're pretty cheap online now. Anyway, I had a bunch of things I was going to talk about in the video tonight, but they're all written down in my office back there, and I said, screw it. I'm just going to come out here and freestyle some random thoughts like usual. Truth is, it's actually more often than not that I don't write down my thoughts before I make a video, but sometimes when I want to make a point, I do. But it seems like it's to no avail. I wish I could have more time to structure my videos and organize them, but, I got too much else to do. It takes a lot more time for some people to edit their videos than to make them, It's a lot of work. I'm just not that big fond of it, so that's why I just make random videos. So I'm sipping a cup of tea right now. It's English breakfast tea. It's like my favorite kind. I like black tea. I like a variety of teas, but this is probably my favorite. Is that any English breakfast tea flavor? I can't remember the brand it is anyhow. It's a rather cool evening here in the Portland area. Vancouver, Washington, across the bridge from Portland. And it's about, I'd say in the mid to upper 50s right now, which is a little cool, but not really for Portland. And I don't know. It's been an interesting day. I've had a lot of thoughts on my mind today. And it's not just about politics and the election, because the debate was yesterday, but much more than that. Understanding each other, because although I may have my own opinions on, politics and the election, most of my subscribers know that I'm pretty, I don't hold grudges against people who don't believe what I do. I just feel the way I do about people, but that it's one of those things where in the end we all want the same thing. It's a tough call, and people are easily frustrated on those things. But in general, things will calm back down, and they always do. It's different for every country, every area, every culture. They have different times when elections happen, or when they need to, have an uprising in their own country against some sort of a dictator or brutal problem that they have. It's a tough world to live in, and we forget that we're just humans, and that's why we have to step back and laugh, because we ultimately have more commonalities, and we have more in common than we don't, It's easy for people to pick out the negative in a situation, and to think that everything's bad, and that, it's harmful, but that everyone's out to get them, that the world's a giant conspiracy, or that nobody likes them, whether it be, there's several different conditions that lead a person to feel like life sucks, or that people in general are untrustworthy. And I understand, because I've been down that road. I actually had a few events where I was stolen from by good friends, and it really twisted my judgment of people for a while. I started to feel like nobody was trustworthy, and I shut down. And still to this day, I'm pretty selective about the friends that I do make, because it's so easy for people to screw each other over, and a lot of people just don't have the heart to respect one another, and make huge mistakes by either stealing or lying or cheating from a good friend, and that's something I just can't handle. So, I guess we all grow up with different values and a different understanding about what life is. Different understanding about what it means to be a good person, and a different understanding about, what we consider to be a good life. It brings up happiness. Somebody asked, what is happiness? And to me, what is success? It was something posted on Facebook. And there were a few answers pertaining to happiness, and I was just, happiness is my idea of success. And my brother said he finds happiness to be, when he's learning something new or, educating himself. And I said, that's just it, though. That makes you happy, so that's happiness. In the ultimate end of everything, we're looking to be happy. We're looking to be happy people. There's nothing wrong with that. Is it that selfish? There's people out there who have beaten themselves up, flagellation, I think that's what it's called, when people would beat themselves up with like whips and whatnot. And I love this thing. They would whip themselves. It was like a Christian thing, I believe, and it was like self-abuse, thinking that got you closer to God. And then there were people who were ascetics, like in India. Supposedly, Siddhartha was an ascetic for 7 years before he became Buddha. All those stories are metaphoric in my eyes. The idea that we all make mistakes until we eventually find the right path. And the mistakes are something to learn from. They're never something to beat ourselves up or criticize ourselves over. I mentioned the other day in a video that, a small mistake or a small problem or a small judgment can lead a person to a lifetime of pain because they're scared to act out or, talk about their true feelings anymore because they don't want to be scathed. It really is better to be scathed and to heal than to never be scathed and not feel that pain. To understand why people are the way they are and the way the world is. It's different for all of us. Some of us live in very safe places, gated communities, whatnot. Some of us live in suburb areas where it's, so-so, like where I live. Others live in like way out in the country where they've never really seen any city issues or dangers. Beyond, the average dangers of being a farmer or whatnot. Everybody has their own region, their own specialty, and their own expertise about different landscapes, different lifestyles. And we forget that all those lifestyles meld together to make, humans in general who we are. And those cultures, those lines, they're invisible. We spent far too long trying to separate ourselves from nature, the Industrial Revolution. We really wanted to beat nature, and create a better way than we'd always had, making synthetic fabrics and drugs and whatnot. And in a lot of cases, they were very useful. And that's the thing, because I love modern science. I think it's phenomenal because it does test the boundaries without being too, let's just say, superstitious. And at the same time, now that we've had the scientific method, we can finally see, for a lot of us, that it doesn't prove all of the things that we feel in our hearts, or all the necessary components to being a human. And that's okay too. We need to analyze science and religion and history and the basic knowledge of everything, how computers work, how politics work, how people think, a little bit of psychology. All of this makes a worldly person, which I believe could be the philosopher king type that could lead a country successfully, or even lead a workplace successfully. The idea is to earn the respect of people by your actions and your knowledge, instead of using rhetoric to fool people into thinking that you are better than you are. And we're all a little bit rhetorical, I guess. We're all a little bit, we all elaborate a little bit on the things that we say, our stories about who we are, where we've been. You could consider it it's magnified in the Facebook syndrome, where people will post all their happy vacation photos, but you seldom see a person, posting pictures, many pictures of them on the couch crying and sniffling while they're sick. It's just we do focus on the negative sometimes, but there are times when the positive outweighs, and that's what we want to show. We want to show the world that side of us, but we forget that we're all human. We all make mistakes. We all get sick. Hopefully, we all learn some from our mistakes, because that's how we move forward. I think we're all pretty good people. I do. Well, not all of us. I mean, there are some serious assholes out there. I'll show you what this laser does when it goes through the vape. Pretty damn cool, huh? See if I can get it between my legs here, and then, there we go. Watch this. And then you turn it. There we go. I'm sure that'll look cool enough on the camera to get the idea of what this thing's all about. It's pretty cool. It was only like $8 online. It's a 303 laser if anybody wants to get one. I researched them and looked for one that was worthy. I love lasers. I wanted to get a more powerful one, but this one's just good enough to not hurt my eyes or have to have goggles for, I don't know, around 50 milliwatts, maybe 100. It's probably supposed to be 300 or 400, but I don't even know. I've had a few of the 50 milliwatt ones that weren't quite even as powerful as this one, but I really like it. Anyway, enough rambling. I guess I'm going to go now. It's been a beautiful evening. I'm going to go back inside and take my last sip of tea here and another vape, and then go back in there and try to corral the children into bed, because it's probably about that time. Yeah, it's about 7:30. Anyway, it's nice talking to myself. It was nice talking to you, camera, and in relation, camera through the computer.